Welcome to NocBro Nation.
Welcome back, Walking Dead fans. Jarrell here.
And I'm Josh, and today we're here to talk about Abraham. Why was he killed off? And how was it supposed to happen in the TV series?
Yeah, guys, so spoiler alert right off the bat for the Walking Dead TV show and the Walking Dead comics, if you are just starting to read. This will contain information from both the comics and the show. And what we're going to be talking about is comparing how Abraham died in the TV show compared to the comics, who took his death in the comics, in the TV show, and how Robert Kirkman really felt about it. And most of these quotes are coming from Michael Cutlitz himself, who, when he was talking with Skybound. So we're getting into this. It's actually going to be really, really good.
Let's talk about the events. Let's take the comic book first.
Comic book? Okay. Yep.
The comic book. In the comic book, this is leading up to the events of All Out War. Mm-hmm. We have met Dwight. I think that's when you first meet Dwight, I want to say. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've read the comic books. But anyway, Dwight shoots Abraham through the head with an arrow.
Right.
Now, that sounds familiar.
It does.
Where did I see that? In the TV series, that's Denise that gets that kill.
Yep.
Or that death.
Yeah. So Abraham is actually, he's talking with Eugene, talking about his feelings towards Rosita, because he just recently broke up with her. And then, yeah, as Josh said, he gets an arrow through the head, which goes through his eyeball. And it was Dwight who actually shot and killed him. Now, Michael Cutlitz revealed that Robert Kirkman was never really pleased the way that he killed Abraham in the comics, saying that it was a last-minute decision, which is very interesting.
That is very interesting.
You know, a last-minute decision. Why?
For an iconic character like that's surprising.
Abraham in both the comics and the TV series was a very key character and one of Rick's most reliable allies.
Absolutely.
Most reliable allies.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was legit.
I did love how they did it. They did it perfectly in the show. Meaning, comparing the death in the comic book to how Denise died, perfect. Because Abraham was in mid-sentence when it happened, and so was Denise.
Oh, it was brutal.
It was
guys.
brutal.
In season 6, you know, Denise, who was kind of a love interest for Tara, I think they were girlfriends.
They were together, yes.
Denise was talking with Daryl and Rosita, and right out of the blue, she gets shot with an arrow through the eye, continues to talk for a second, and dies.
It was, you guys need to shut. And then she was like, up. Like, after she got shot, like, her brain didn't quite register that it had been shot with an arrow, or maybe did, but stopped her speech. It was a brutal and shocking death.
And what was cool is they still gave the death from Dwight, but in the show, Dwight was actually aiming for Daryl, and it actually hit Denise by accident.
Kicks like a bitch.
Yeah.
That's the line he said. Kicks like a bitch.
But it's still cool that they still paid homage to changing Abraham's death around, still keeping it with Dwight doing it, but changing it around. Now, as you guys all know, Abraham was the first victim in the introduction to Negan to the lineup. He did not die that way in the comics. It was only Glenn who died by Lucille's hands. But it was interesting, and you know, I actually am glad that they changed Abraham's death in the show, because I think it would have been really weird to see him die the same way he did in the comics that way. Because it just would have been out of the blue.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it was out of the blue in the comics.
It was out of the blue, but I guess it does make sense, though, in the comics. Because, look, Abraham is this big dude. Like, he's strong, and he is a force to be reckoned with. So it would make sense that he's taken out kind of in that cowardly way. Because you're not going to go toe-to-toe with this guy.
And that's the same of what they did in the show, is in the comics and the show, he both died without fighting back. He was just unable to fight back. So it kind of sucks, because it would have been able to be cool to see Abraham, like, you know, have maybe like an honorable death where he's fighting, you know, either in the comics he's fighting against walkers or whisperers or whatever, and he gets killed, or a one-on-one with Abraham and Negan. I think that would have been cool, but it's just really cool, the subtle things that they change. And, you know, with us being comic book readers, we picked up on it when Denise was shot. We were like, oh, that's how Abraham died. Most of you were like, all right, whatever. Like, you know, not really whatever, but...
Now, we went into this, didn't Cutlitz actually say something about the death, of the lineup death? I think he said...
He did. it was too brutal.
He said it was a bit much.
It was a bit much.
Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of, I don't have the full
I think that's
transcript
the
of what
exact
he said.
words. He said it was a bit much.
It was a bit much.
Yeah.
He was on Skybound's Talk Dead to Me, and they were talking about everything The Walking Dead, and he just says it was a bit much. I think he said they could have just had it be Glenn and not him, or maybe just him and not Glenn. But you know, I didn't. It was brutal, but it needed to be seen.
Look, it was brutal.
It was part of the comics.
I think that there was no way to have this lineup scene and not come out the other side of it being brutal or not. Like, it was going to be brutal regardless of who it was. Mm-hmm. I just think that there were a lot of Glenn fans out there that were maybe didn't read the source material or just were hoping that it didn't happen. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, if you're thinking of from a strategic standpoint, Negan, like, that would have been the first person that he would have taken out. Yeah. Was this bigger dude other than Rick, right? Like, he wasn't going to take out Rick because then people would revolt.
Right. Well, it was funny, well, not funny, but you could see in the lineup where when Negan approached Abraham, where the other people would just stay coward, Abraham rose up. Yeah. So Negan knew exactly right there, oh, this guy's got some balls. Like, he's going to stand up to me while everyone else is cowering in fear. This dude has no fear. So who would I want to take out first? Him. Yeah. So it was, like you said, strategic.
Completely agree. Yeah. Now, number 2, as Negan says, that wasn't his fault.
Wasn't Daryl's.
Take a damn look! It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up. So, back to it.
Yeah.
That's what sucks between the comics and the show. I mean, it wasn't, you know, Daryl, of course, doesn't exist in the comics, and it was just Negan picking Glenn. He just did it. He's picking. I mean, he did the eeny, meeny, miny, moe, and it landed on Glenn.
To be honest, I think it was more brutal in the source material than it was in the show. I really do.
Yeah,
because
just about the
it was random.
It was random.
It didn't matter who it was, and I think he even says a line in there like it wasn't because he was Asian or something like that. Yeah. Like, it was brutal, and like I was saying, there's no way you're gonna have that scene without being as brutal as it was.
Yeah. So, you know, we wanted to give you this information, guys. We love, you know, hearing this information, especially hearing that Michael Cutlitz said that Kirkman thought that he didn't like the way he killed Abraham, and it was a last-minute decision, which kind of makes sense of how quickly he gets killed in the comics. Just boom, arrow, done. Bye-bye. I mean, that is kind of a last-minute death that you've come up with.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm going to shoot this character in the head with an arrow.
Yeah. It'll be out of the blue. No context, just Dwight being Dwight at that time, and just, I want to kill
somebody. It's completely off the rail here, but I would have almost rather seen Rosita shot in the head with an arrow, and Abraham having to see that. Considering that he was already, I think, in the transition of being with Sasha.
Oh,
so having to lose Rosita like that,
right? Yeah,
might have added a little bit more value.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see where Rosita's character goes. But yeah, make sure you guys let us know what you think in the comments. Are you big comic book readers like us? Are you just getting into it? Let us know. Feel free to subscribe, hit the bell. Make sure you give the video a quick like if you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more Walking Dead content from us. I'm Jarrell.
I'm Josh.
We're NocBro Nation.
We're out.